My name is Davita Dutton. I'm the Executive Vice President for SITE. Today I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker. Mrs. Patricia Russell McCloud is an attorney slash president of the Links, Inc. and counts herself among the last of the dying breed. In the tradition of Frederick Douglass and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., she's more than just a motivational speaker. She's an orator. Quoted, "My speaking style is big, broad, and animated," says the 40-something president, Russell McCloud and Associates in Atlanta. Russell McCloud practiced law for the Federal Communications Commission for a decade before changing career paths in 1983. A former instructor of Federal City College in Washington, D.C., she describes her message as one of personal and professional accountability. Russell McCloud believes an effective motivator must talk with the audience, not at them. They need practical information they can use right now, not just cold data. She avoids recycling speeches and tailors her message specially to every group she addresses. Ms. McCloud states, "There's no magical formula for success. Life is short, so get out there and achieve now." Please refer to your site journal for her complete bio. I'd like at this time to welcome Ms. Patricia Russell McCloud.
Paging Site 2003. Conferees, we are focused upon sharing knowledge, 20 years of making a difference, past, present, and future. You see, great minds think for themselves, and the one who knows and knows not that he knows not is a fool. Shun him. The one who knows not and knows that he knows not is a child. Teach him. And the one who knows and knows that he knows not is asleep. Wake him. And the one who knows and knows that he knows is wise. Follow him. Because sight, the mind is like a parachute. It only functions when it's open. And once a mind is stretched, it never returns to the original position. The uncreative mind can spot wrong answers, but it takes a very creative mind to spot correct answers. And if you cannot explain it simply, then you don't know it well enough. We're paging sight, because smart is believing half of what you hear, and brilliant is knowing which half. And so sight, knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. Because great minds discuss ideas that impact global changes, and average minds are those minds that are strategic and methodical, and they dare to make the positive difference. But small minds discuss people, and they leave thinking and planning and implementation to somebody else, and then they complain about the results. And so to look is one thing, but to see that which you've looked at is really another dimension. To listen is one thing, but to hear that which you've listened to is actually another component. But to look and see and then act upon that which you have seen, heard, and understood is really what matters, because being a man or a woman is a matter of birth. But being a man or a woman who makes a difference is a matter of choice. So sight, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give your time and your peace and your sleep for it, if gladly you'll sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, if you'll simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope and confidence and stern pertinacity, if neither cold nor famine nor gaunt nor sickness nor pain nor body or brain, if none of those things can keep you away from that thing that you want, if dogged and grim you will besiege and beset it, surely you will get it. Go for it, because paging, paging, paging. I work a lot for NASA. And when I was there, I said, look, I want you to tell me about the human mind. Tell me about the human mind, because I'm going to be with SITE, and they're telecommunications experts. And I want you to focus and tell me about this mind so I can tell them. He said, to tell you that the mind is a self-balancing 28-jointed adaptive base biped. The mind is an electrochemical reduction plant that's integrated with segregated states of special energy extracts with storage batteries. The mind has a subsequent activation system with hydraulic pumps with motors attached. The mind has 62,000 miles of capillaries with the whole extraordinary complex mechanism. It's guided with exquisite precision. It has a telescopic and a microscopic rangefinder. It has a spectroscope with a main fuel intake and exhaust system. So y'all, may I suggest to you that the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Think about it. Text messages, LOL, laugh out loud. According to today's regulators and bureaucrats, those who were kids in the 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s probably should not have survived. Baby cribs were covered with bright paint and lead-based paint. And then there were no child-proof lids on medicine bottles and doors on cabinets, and we had no helmets, not to mention the risk that we took hitchhiking. Children rode in cars without seat belts or airbags, and we drank from water from a garden hose and not from the bottle. People ate cupcakes and bread and butter and drank soda pop and with sugar in it, and they didn't gain weight because they played outdoors. And they drank from the same bottle, and it really didn't kill anybody. And we would leave home in the morning and play all day outdoors, and it didn't matter as long as you were home by the time the street light was on. Nobody was able to reach you because there were no cell phones. And now the young and the seasoned, everybody has a cell phone, and I know Verizon is happy about it. We did not have PlayStations and Nintendo 64 and Xboxes and no video games at all. We didn't have 99 channels on cable and video movies. We didn't have surround sound, and we still had friends. We went outside and found them, and we played dodgeball, and if the dodgeball hit you and broke your bones, there were no lawsuits because it was an accident. You do remember accidents. Little leaguers tried out and everybody didn't make it. Those who didn't learn to deal with disappointment, well, some students weren't as smart as others, so they failed a grade and were held back. And horrors, tests were not adjusted for any reason. And acts had consequences, and if you got in trouble with the law, then mama and daddy were not on your side. They were on the side of the law. And those generations came forward, and they produced the best risk takers and the best problem solvers and the best inventors. So for the last 50 years, we've had an explosion of innovation and new ideas and freedom and failure and success and responsibility, and we've learned to deal with it. Isn't that special? So Dr. Philip Harder of Stanford University said, well, suppose we shrunk the whole world to 100 people. To 100 people, what would that village look like? He said it would be 57 who would be Asian, and 21 would be European, and 14 would be from the Western Hemisphere. 8 would be African, and 52 would be female. 48 would be male. 70 would be non-Christian, and 30 would be white, and 70 would be non-white. 89 would be heterosexual, and 11 would be homosexual, and 6 people would possess 59% of the entire world's wealth, and they'd all be in the United States. 80 would be in substandard housing, and 70 would be unable to read, and 50 would suffer from malnutrition, and 1 would be near death, and 1 would be expecting a child, and 1 would have a college education, and only 1 would have a computer. So sight, if you live in a good house, and if you have plenty to eat and clothes on your back, then you're with 75% ahead of the rest of the world. And if you've never experienced the danger of battle or the loneliness of imprisonment or the pangs of starvation, then you're ahead of 500 million people around the world. So sight, if you have money in the bank, in your wallet, or spare change in a dish somewhere, you're among the top 8% of the world's wealthiest people. So we need leadership. FWD, forward this. Mount it. Get out of my way, because you see, in any group, there are always going to be some who lead and some who follow. And then there'll be a whole slew of folk who simply don't want to get involved in the process. In any group, there are those who make things happen, and then there are those who watch things happen, and then there are a whole slew of folk wondering, what in the world has happened? The other day, I saw a bumper sticker, and it was blank, which suggested to me they didn't want to be involved in anything. So get busy. It's a text message. You can put decaf in the coffee maker for 3 weeks, and once everybody has withdrawn from the caffeine, switch it to espresso. Because America's delinquent, economy's in recession, and families are challenged. When money is tight, it doesn't talk, it whispers. We're looking at quality education, so I applaud your literacy action, because superintendents are afraid of their constituents, and principals are afraid of the teachers, and the teachers are afraid of the students, and the students are afraid of nobody. Verizon, the young man woke up and he said he was living with his mother. Mom, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go. It's too much out there. I don't even think my team likes me. They don't focus upon my leadership. I don't think they want me involved. And so his mother looked at him. She said, get up. Get up. After all, you're healthy, you're visionary, you're smart, and you have plenty to offer. And after all, you're 42 years old and you're in charge. A manager administers, and the leader innovates, and the manager maintains, and the leader develops. The manager has a short-term view, where the leader has a long-term view. And the manager has an eye on the bottom line, where a leader has their eye on the horizon. On the horizon. Leadership is never easy, but it's necessary. I'm thinking about the leader trainer who came into the class and said to the training class in corporate, said, is anybody in here feeling stupid? Nobody stepped forward. 5 minutes passed, and then 10, and nobody stepped forward. And then finally, John stepped forward. She said, oh, John, are you feeling stupid? He said, no, I'm not feeling stupid. She said, well, why did you step forward? He said, because I didn't want to see you standing there all by yourself. Verizon, Site 2003, companies have said attitude is our #1 concern. Attitude. And how do I know? Because my book is out this door. When you come, I want to meet you, greet you. I want you to receive it, because attitude is our #1 concern. And not much is going to change if you don't first change your mind. Attitude can move you all the way from duh to ah. Duh to ah. Have you ever been around somebody with a negative attitude? They're toxic. They go all over you. Who thought this up? And give you a little neck action. That's so stupid. I want you to have a new alphabet. And here it goes. A is for your attitude, and that's going to determine your altitude, how high you're going to fly in this life. And B is for brain power, and that's the best demonstration of who you are. And C is for your courage to be strong in a time in which you may have neither the motivation nor the inclination to be inspired. And D is for dedication to causes that are just. And E is for the effort that you have to put forth every day to be a superstar, just to be considered average. F is for freedom, that is not free, and G is for the genius in each one of us, and H is for our heritage, rich and pure, and I is for the intuition to look beyond the obvious, and J is for justice, and the fact that we must fight every day to keep it colorblind. K is for know-how, to create and implement a master plan for our future, and L is for life. And it is true, you only go around one time, and this is not a practice run. M is for meditation. Take time to get to know who you are. And N is for now is the hour. And O is for organization. Organize your life. P is for promises that we must hold for the generations yet unborn. Q is for the questions that we must always be willing to ask. R is for the risk that you must be willing to take. S is for survival, and it really will be the survival of the swiftest. And T is for the truth that you must be willing to tell. U is for the unity. Never think that we don't have to be joined together inextricably one to the other. V is for the vision. Never lose sight of the top of the mountain. And W is for the willpower to rise to the top of the crop. X is for X-ray. Hold people, persons, and things up to the light. Y is for you and your contribution. And Z is for the zodiac and your place in the sun. Oh, yeah. In the workplace, it's not going to be easy. You will be detoured and denied and disappointed and deluded. You will be disappointed and feel distant. You will be disturbed and dismayed and dismissed, decried, disengaged, and sometimes just dissed. But think about it. If you tell your real story, when I went to college, I'm a first-generation college. And when I went, I was so poor, there was no R on the word po. When I went, my whole neighborhood turned out. They said, Patty, be somebody. I said, be what? They said, just be somebody. And remember, everybody's somebody. The ark was built by amateurs, and the Titanic was built by professionals. Don't let anybody paralyze your mind or break your spirit. You hold on and press forward. And so you say, why you? Because every 24 hours the whole world rotates over the person who thought he or she was sitting on top of it. And so the lady said, I can't do anymore. Hey, look, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do anymore. And then she got the email back. If the problems were less difficult, we'd need someone with less ability to solve them. Sight, you're the best that we have. 20 years of being the best that we have. So globally, I want to say text message, THX, thanks to you. Globally, mountain, get out of my way. If I were French, I'd say thank you by saying merci beaucoup. If I was saying thank you in Spanish, I would say muchas gracias. If I were thanking you in German, I would say dankeschön. If I were thanking you in Danish, I would say dorien. If I were thanking you in Chinese, I would say unge. If I were thanking you in Korean, I would say kumsamdene. If I were thanking you in Russian, I would say pesap sibo. If I were thanking you in Swahili, I would say enchanté. If I were thanking you in Haitian, I would say merci beaucoup. If I were thanking you in Yoruba, I would say ose. If I were thanking you in Chinese Mandarin, I would say siche, siche. If I were thanking you in Cherokee, I would say wado. If I were thanking you in Arabic, I would say shukran. If I was thanking you in Italian, I would say mille grazia. In finita 2003 site conferenza. But since I am what I am, a little black girl girl growing up in Indianapolis, now living in Atlanta, Georgia, where we speak in Southern dialect, I just say thank you here. Thank you for knowing and understanding. Thank you for knowing, because sight, if you don't know me, sight, if you don't know me, then know me now. This is a tough time for the workplace. This is a tough time, and say that Pat left the podium, and I want to leave you with 3 words, just 3 words. Say that she said, never, 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 never,